You know what we need? We need a tentative deal where the survivors of Benghazi will be allowed to testify in public so we know exactly what happened.
I don't know what's stopping them.
Well, here's the problem, and let me start here. Lindsey Graham was on with Governor Huckabee over the weekend where he talked about he has actually spoken to several of the 33 survivors from that night in Benghazi. And what they say is they were told to be quiet, and he thinks the administration is trying to cover it up. Well, here's Lindsey Graham with Huckabee a couple of nights ago. Listen to this.
You got to remember, this administration leaked every detail of the bin Laden raid. They told us about the Pakistani doctor who helped, who's now in jail. They told us about SEAL Team 6. They're refusing to give us the identity of the survivors and allow them to come to Congress to be interviewed. I'm going to hold up the business of the Senate until we get the survivors on record. I've talked to a couple, and their story is chilling. They're scared to death to come forward without some institutional support.
You know, I just like to see, number one, who they are. Just get a list of those names. You pursue them, and then we continue to follow their story logically. If there's any redemption or if there's any payback for them coming forward, we'll be able to report it, shine light on it, and it will go away, wouldn't you think?
Well, you would think so, but apparently, you know, most of these guys are probably CIA, and they've got this no whistleblower rule at the CIA. They can't talk, and if they are going to talk, they need permission from the CIA, which would mean also from the White House as well. So if they do talk, they would not only worry about getting fired, but they'd worry about being prosecuted for releasing classified information. So they're in a pickle. They would need the CIA to say, okay, all you survivors who work for us, go on out there and tell your story.
Which is not going to happen. The White House is saying, we already know what we need to know about this. They're saying they're not asking anyone to be silent. So the question is, why don't those 33 come forward? It might be a safety issue, though. They might not want to come forward because they're worried about backlash from other individuals, from leaders, or also from terrorists.
If you're a CIA member, you can't whistleblow on the government.
Right,
you need
But
permission.
are they all CIA? Not all 33 are.
No, I doubt if they all are. Right. That is true. Pete Hegseth, who's a captain in the military, still active today, fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. On the fact is, he's not that curious because he already knows it's already bad from what we know already.
I think we should get that on-the-ground perspective. I don't think at this point we're probably going to get a whole lot different than we already know. We know they didn't heed the warnings. We know the folks at the annex and at the consulate knew that there was an attack likely coming. White House didn't do anything about it. And then when they were attacked, there was no real rapid response that happened. We know that all happened. I think the survivors would provide additional details, which are important. We should hear from them. I just don't know how much it's going to change from this administration that's good at stonewalling.
Right. You know, one thing about the CIA, they have a way of getting their stories out. We saw that a lot during the Bush administration when they weren't happy about how they were being portrayed in the media. Suddenly there were these leaks that came out.
Right.
They could find a way to do things covertly to get the story out. And I like to see somebody else pursue this because we're like the Jennifer Griffin, Brett Baer, us, or like the Lone Rangers on this.
Yeah. How many... Report back to us in a couple of days. How many of your local papers are going to do this? This is a gigantic story. That
the government's pressuring witnesses not to come forward?
They're told not to talk. And watch the other network newscasts. Find out and report back to us how many of your favorite news shows actually do this story aside from Fox.
I would too. Who were these witnesses? Were they working there in the consulate's office?
Could be state, could be CIA, contractors.
Jay Carney says, quote, I am sure the White House is not preventing anyone from speaking.
Right.
Enough said.
That's what I said.
All right.
All right.
Meanwhile.